the craziest football matches in history. Would you believe me if I told you that one football match was so intense, it literally helped spark a war between two countries? Or that in another game, a single lightning strike wiped out an entire team? And if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear about the match where a club owner stormed onto the pitch with a loaded gun. These are the most unbelievable football matches in history. And trust me, they only get crazier from here. Before we get into the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss another insane football story from the Football Vault. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The owner with a gun, Greek League chaos. We're starting in Greece, where football isn't just a sport, it's chaos. In 2018, PAOK were facing fierce rivals AEK Athens in a title-deciding clash. A win would put PAOK on course for their first league title in decades. But this season had already been wild. Points deductions, fan incidents, controversy everywhere. And it all came down to this moment. In the dying seconds, PAOK thought they'd done it, scoring a last-minute winner from a corner. The stadium exploded. But then, everything changed. AEK players protested, the referee consulted, and the goal was ruled offside. Just like that, the title dream was slipping away. And that's when things went completely off the rails. PAOK owner Ivan Savidis stormed onto the pitch, furious. But this wasn't just another angry owner moment, because as cameras zoomed in, it became clear. He had a gun strapped to his waist. Yes, a loaded handgun, on a football pitch. Even in Greek football, that crossed every possible line. The match was abandoned. The league was suspended. Savidis was banned. PAOK were punished. And to this day, their fans still believe that title was stolen from them. The referee who ended a match early, AFCON 2021. But as crazy as that was, it's nothing compared to what happened in this next game. Because this time, the madness came from the referee. In the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, Tunisia faced Mali. A normal international match, until it wasn't. In the 85th minute, the referee blew for full time, 5 minutes early. Players were confused, fans were stunned, but somehow, it got worse. After restarting the match, the referee did it again, this time ending the game in the 89th minute, despite multiple stoppages and VAR delays. Tunisia were furious. They were losing 1-0. But the chaos didn't stop there. After the match, officials realized the mistake and ordered the final minutes to be replayed. Mali's players came back out. Tunisia? They refused. So the game ended in complete farce, with Mali declared the winners. One of the most bizarre refereeing performances football has ever seen. The Disgrace of Gijón, World Cup 1982. Now imagine a match so bad, it was reported in the crime section of newspapers. Welcome to the 1982 World Cup. Back then, final group games weren't played at the same time, which meant teams could play the system. After Algeria shocked the world by beating West Germany, Germany knew exactly what they needed. Beat Austria, and both teams go through. And that's exactly what happened. Germany scored early, and then both teams just stopped playing. No pressing, no attacking, just passing the ball around, doing nothing. Because a 1-0 scoreline suited them both perfectly. Fans were furious. Commentators gave up, and the match became known as the Disgrace of Gijón. It was so embarrassing, FIFA changed the rules forever. The fog match, Arsenal versus Dynamo Moscow. Now picture this, 50,000 fans in a stadium, and they can't see a thing. In 1945, just after World War II, Dynamo Moscow toured England. Football was finally back. Fans were desperate. But when Dynamo faced Arsenal, London was covered in thick, heavy fog. Visibility? Almost zero. But the match went ahead anyway. Players could barely see each other. The referee had no idea what was happening. And both teams took full advantage. Late tackles, off-the-ball punches. At one point, Dynamo had 12 players on the pitch, and somehow got away with it. Arsenal tried the same trick later. Goals were scored from clearly offside positions. Chaos everywhere. Dynamo won 4-3, but honestly, nobody really knew what actually happened. The game with 2 goals for 1, Caribbean Cup 1994. Now this next one might be the most ridiculous rule in football history. In the 1994 Caribbean Cup, a golden goal in extra time didn't just win the match. It counted as 2 goals, which made absolutely no sense, and it led to one of the strangest moments ever. Barbados needed to win by 2 goals to qualify. They were leading 2-1 late in the game, but that wasn't enough. So, they did something insane. They deliberately scored an own goal, making it 2-2. Why? To force extra time, where a golden goal would count double. But then things got even crazier, because now, Grenada tried to score an own goal too, since losing 3-2 would actually send them through. So for the final minutes, both teams were trying to score in both goals. It was complete madness. Barbados held on, forced extra time, scored the golden goal, and won 4-2. A game so absurd, it feels completely made up. The match that paused a war. Pele in Nigeria. Now earlier, I asked if a football match could stop a war. Well, this one almost did. In 1967, Nigeria was in the middle of a brutal civil war. But when Pele and Santos came to play a friendly, something incredible happened. Both sides agreed to a temporary ceasefire, just to watch him play. For 48 hours, the fighting stopped. Soldiers stood side by side, all to witness the greatest player in the world. Pele scored twice in a 2-2 draw, and for a brief moment, football brought peace. But sadly, once the match ended, the war resumed. The lightning strike tragedy. Now we move to one of the darkest stories in football history. In 1998, during a match in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a storm rolled in. The game continued, until suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the pitch. What happened next was almost impossible to believe. 11 players from one team were killed instantly, while the opposing team was completely unharmed. 30 spectators were injured, and the sheer randomness of it led to wild theories. Some even claimed witchcraft. But the likely explanation? The players who died were wearing boots with metal studs, which conducted the electricity. A tragic reminder of how unpredictable football and life can be. The 149-0 match, Madagascar Madness. Now, when we talk about crazy football matches, this one holds a world record. In Madagascar, a team called Solemirn were furious after a controversial decision cost them the title. So in their next match, they decided to protest. Every time they kicked off, they scored an own goal. Again, and again, and again. Not once, not 10 times, but 149 times. Final score? 149-0, the highest scoreline in football history. Fans demanded refunds, officials handed out bans, and the team was eventually disbanded. A protest taken to the absolute extreme. The match that started a war. And finally, the craziest football match of them all. Because this one didn't just cause chaos, it helped start a war. In 1969, tensions between Honduras and El Salvador were already high. Political issues, migration conflicts, and then came a World Cup qualifier. The first match? Hostile. The second? Even worse. Riots broke out. Fans attacked players. National tensions exploded. So a third match was played in Mexico. El Salvador won in extra time. But by then, it wasn't just football anymore. Days later, war broke out. Airstrikes, troops crossing borders, over 3,000 people killed. A conflict remembered as the Football War, all sparked by a game. Football is supposed to be just a game, but sometimes it becomes something far bigger. From wars and tragedies to chaos, controversy, and moments that feel completely unreal. These matches prove one thing: you can never predict what will happen in football. And honestly, that's what makes it the most unbelievable sport in the world. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comments, and turn on notifications so you never miss another insane football story from the Football Vault. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.